I'm Jonathan Frakes, Commander Riker from Star Trek The Next Generation, here to introduce 5'2", incredibly adorable, the Southern Mother of Dragons, Mayim Zadi.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It's me, Amanda, and you're so incredibly lucky because we have Chris. Say hello. And we also have Zach.
Hello.
And they sound really enthusiastic.
Amanda, come on, don't be crazy.
I'm leaving that in.
Oh, God.
All right. So, last episode, we talked about Prometheus, which is a lot. Hopefully, we explained that decently. Zach did most of it. We're going to talk about Covenant. There's a lot of overlap between Prometheus and Covenant. And then there's the whole thing about how Covenant was going to be one story and they scrapped it and made it something else, which I personally think they should have kept the original story, but that's just me. There was a lot of back and forth with both films because they had talked about making them their own and not necessarily be in the alien universe. And then it's like, okay, we are going to put them in. And Prometheus and Covenant have a different vibe. And you could tell that they're trying to put the Xenomorph in Covenant as much as they can.
People didn't really respond well to Prometheus. What can we do? Let's just throw the Xenomorph right into the first trailer.
I think they thought, Prometheus didn't do really well. Let's make Covenant less complicated and just put a bunch of Xenomorphs in it and, people will be happy.
Well, for Prometheus, I didn't know it was connected to alien movies at all. So I didn't watch it. And when I saw the trailer for it, I saw the Deacon, and I thought, is this an alien ripoff? They tried too hard to copy that. I don't know if I want to watch a copy movie.
You see, that's what I heard. That's what I heard from a lot of people. They didn't realize it was connected.
If they had called it Alien Prometheus, I would have known and watched it.
The biggest thing for me is that Michael Fassbender did such an amazing job as David and Walter. And I really feel like a third film would have been great. But it just didn't connect. And then I feel like, and we'll get to it, but I feel like they left the end of Covenant so big that they probably couldn't figure out what to do with another movie.
They kind of shot themselves in the foot, I think. I'm not the only one who thinks that, hopefully.
No, I think so.
They could have chopped themselves in the hand, so to speak.
My God.
Get it?
Walter. Let's start from the beginning. What we have in Covenant, we have a big ship. What's the time frame? How long had it been? Didn't David say he was stuck there for 10 years?
Yeah, I believe it was a decade.
All right, so we have this huge ship, and we have what you think is is that David? It's a David, but his name's actually Walter. And he's in control of this ship, and it's of the similar type because it has Mother as the computer system. And what's it doing? Are they trying to get energy or something? They unfurl something.
It's a solar-powered ship, basically.
Okay.
So the Covenant is a colony ship. They got roughly 2,000 colonists with a crew, I think about maybe 14 or 20. So in 2091 was the Prometheus when we last saw it, and now it would be 2103, the USCSS Covenant. Earth's first long-distance, large-scale colonization effort is announced. It's 2,000 colonists. The fanatical group known as the Earth-Savers repeatedly fails to sabotage the Covenant mission. North, South, and Central America unify to form the United Americas. Covenant is successfully launched from Earth orbit, carrying over 2,000 colonists, bound for planet Orgai 6.
Okay, is that why they talk about religion and like how there's obviously a divide in the people, and it seems like there's some kind of like Christian persecution going on or something?
A little bit, I think. A little bit of that is
Well,
important.
damn, it'd be nice to know. It'd be nice if they told us.
Well, I think they were trying to do world building, but they didn't really do a good job at it.
Okay, so I wondered about that because you have like the Christmas tree, and you have Vickers like, get that damn thing out of here. And then you have the cross necklace with Shaw, and then the crew of the Covenant. I can't remember who was talking, but one's a Christian and then one's not, and then one's saying like basically that people that are looked down upon, and I was like, well, I wonder why that is.
It was the new captain.
Oh, that guy.
That's Billy Crudup, isn't it? Yeah.
It's hard to believe that's the guy who played Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen.
That's also the guy from Almost Famous. He's a great actor.
No, I have to say, he made me not like him in the film. Like, at some point in the film, I was like, oh, he's getting his shit together. And then, you know what happens.
We'll get to it, but he puzzled me more than once. It's a solar ship. They're going through the routine thing of getting solar energy, but there's a neutrino burst. Okay, the only reason I know that is because that's something that is talked about in Star Trek.
Kira said you found something.
Oh, I found something, all right. I just don't know what it means. Look at this.
Solar neutrinos.
Notice anything unusual? There are a lot of them?
Yeah, there was some kind of solar storm or something, whatever.
Yep, it was neutrino. Yeah. So that happens, and Mother's like telling Walter, hey, this is not good. And there's fire, and things are going to hell. And so Walter wakes up the crew because it's an emergency. Talk about Walter.
Well, Walter, who is played by Michael Fassbender, new model and everything. What's interesting is that he's more robotic.
When I first watched it, I was a little confused. I thought David had assumed a new identity and was still scheming. And I was like, well, how did he get back on aboard this ship? I bet there's a whole interesting backstory there. And then you find out, oh, he's just a separate model. I'm like, oh, okay.
You see, I think that's where people were getting confused.
We were probably meant to think that at first, which is probably why they didn't cast like a whole different guy to play a totally different android. They probably wanted us to think, oh, David's scheming. What's he up to? And then you find out, oh, it's not David.
It's because David freaked him out. It's almost like they downgraded him.
The original David 8 was just too human.
What surprised me, though, is if people really were freaked out with David, they probably would have made Walter not look like David, but again, it has to be that way because obvious.
You would think they would, like, maybe change it, but I can see what they were going for a movie standpoint.
Yeah.
Bring back a familiar actor from the last film and everything and kind of tie it together.
Well, Michael Fassbender did an incredible job. So he wakes up the crew, and I can't even imagine how fun that was because they've been in cryo sleep. They're woken up to like a ship that's half on fire and it looks like it's falling apart, and you're sick because you've been in cryo sleep. So we have them throwing up and then trying to like get on their feet as fast as they can because shit is hitting the fan.
Very quickly. And poor James Franco.
Actually, Chris noticed it was James Franco before I did.
James Franco's role as the ship's captain in Alien Covenant was much larger, but many scenes were cut due to character restructuring.
They really should have left them in because it gives a lot of crucial information when you're watching it. That would have helped the film, I think, a lot more.
I can see his sense of humor, what he's thinking. It'll be really funny to put me in the movie and just kill me off at the beginning. Like, I got no scenes or anything. Like, we'll do that one flashback thing when she's watching me on the video camera, but then that's it. Just kill me off completely. Like, it'll be funny. I could see him doing that.
He just catches fire.
He's gone. He's just eviscerated.
And are they married or is that just his girlfriend?
No, they are married. The whole thing about Covenant was like married couples and for colony for, procreation and stuff, which is interesting when there are a few like couples that you see that are gay, but I'm not saying that as like to be a bad thing. But if you were going to be like a colony and stuff and you wanted to get population and everything, you would think they would send like
only fertile couples.
Yeah.
They did have all the embryos. So it's like, well, if they start growing the embryos, somebody's got to adopt them. Who better than the ones that can't have kids? Somebody's got to take care of the kids.
Oh, that makes more sense because, okay, so the only reason I brought that up because that was like a small controversy when this film came out.
And I can see why it would be, because if you're thinking of it as merely science, you would only send for fertile people. It would be like sending somebody that had a hysterectomy. It's like, okay, I get that they're going and they can help, but there's no chance that they can add to it. It's just a numbers thing.
Yeah, exactly. James Franco, gone, dead. He is a crispy bacon.
I was curious about the fire. Like, you're supposed to be like frozen in cryo sleep. Like, so how often are those designed to burst into flames? That just seemed weird. There was a lot of fire really quickly.
Yeah.
You know what? With Wayland Yutani and everything, you don't know. You know they cut corners. Hey guys, there's a small, maybe 50% chance that this could catch on fire. Should we fix that? Nah, just what happened?
We have to make a lot of them, so I mean that costs more. So yeah, nah.
That's one of those things where it's like, well, will it be cheaper to fix or cheaper to pay a lawsuit? Oh, the lawsuit will be cheaper. Oh, we'll go that route.
That's definitely it. So he's a piece of bacon, and his wife has to watch it happen, and she's obviously upset.
Was anyone else disappointed that they just dumped him out in space? If my significant other died while we were traveling to a planet to colonize, and like we had a dream of a cabin on the lake and all that, I'm going to want them to be buried there so I can have a grave to visit. I'm not just going to be like, dump them out with the shit like we do when we flush the septic systems.
How very David of you.
Oh my God.
No, I see what you mean. And it's not like they had to dump him out in space like they didn't have room, but it's supposed to be like a burial at sea, which doesn't really make sense. Yeah, I agree. I don't know why they dumped him out in space and didn't take him to be buried.
I can actually tell you why. So, very first Alien movie, Kane. They did that to Kane's body.
Oh.
I feel like it's a little bit of a homage, but also where are they going to put his body, realistically?
Was he okay, I was a little confused on that. Like, was James Franco the captain of the ship?
That he was.
Yes.
Because they mentioned one crew member died and the captain, and I couldn't remember if he was the crew member or the captain.
He was the captain.
Okay, well, if the other crew member died, they've got an empty cryopod. Just freeze him in there.
I feel like they were just trying to... Someone said burial at sea.
That was me.
Yeah, so I feel like it's kind of doing that, but also paying homage to the very first Alien movie. Wrapped up Kane's body and shot him into space after he died.
Well, they did that with Spock in Star Trek. In Wrath of Khan, you have Spock pass away, and they give him burial at sea, but space.
Is that a sci-fi thing?
Yes, like, well, I don't know about wrapping them, but like, that is a sci-fi thing, like the whole burial at sea, but in space.
Since the captain's dead, James Franco, we have the new captain who, how the hell is he the number 2 person?
Well, that's another thing I was thinking of. He might just have like a persecution complex or just a chip on his shoulder. Because if he was seriously like that persecuted and like people didn't want him in the position, they wouldn't put him in the number 2 spot.
Oh, absolutely not.
So like how much of that like actually is real and how much of that was in his head?
I feel like a lot was in his head.
Yeah, I have to say, the new captain, the character's name is Oren, I think it's pronounced. I think he was the only one mad that they were having a burial at sea and everything.
Yep, he was, and he got mad because he said that, like, they don't have respect for him because he said don't do that, and they did it anyway.
Which I can see his point. Like before we focus on a funeral and all this other stuff, we need to get this shit prepared. Otherwise, we're all going to be having a funeral for ourselves. Like even if it takes like a couple of hours or like a day or two, get everything fixed. Make sure like we're not all going to like explode out in the middle of space. Okay, and then we can all have the burial. Like, but everyone that had woken up at that point, we can all just pay our respects and then move on. You don't have to do it immediately after. So I get where he's coming from on that.
You see, I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Orem is now the captain, and you can already tell that he's not comfortable in the position because he needs a pep talk, which I know a lot of shit went down. I get it, dude. But, like, you're supposed to be trained to, like, take charge.
Yes. I think that goes back to his victim complex to where, like, oh, if they just put me as number 2, I'll never get it. And you got it. It's like, oh, well, I'm not ready. It's
Commander
like,
Riker would never.
It's like, you think like, that's your whole job is to prepare.
I would 100% wish it was Commander Riker.
I'm just saying, Commander Riker would never.
All he has to do is the Riker maneuver, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know what it is, but I trust this guy.
Admiral, can you roll and not fire a single photon torpedo halfway between us and them? Key the phasers, light it up.
You can't help it. I mean, he is my intro, so there's reasons. Whatever, he loves me, it's fine. Okay, so we have a guy.
Oh my god, come on.
I'm awesome. Shut up. Actually, you know what? Instead of Orem, I'm probably going to refer to him as number 2 because he irritates me. So,
all right, he's number 2 now.
Number 2.
He's number 2. Yeah, he's number 2.
Number 2. He's definitely number 2.
Number 2. You can't fit my shoes. I was James Franco. Okay. Yeah.
Who does number 2 work for? That's right, buddy. You tell that turd who's boss. We'll call him number 2 because he's the shit.
This is like the Three Stooges. I can't.
This will lead into an Austin Powers watch.
We're like the last 3 brain cells all fighting for second place.
And I brought this all together.
Oh shit!
Yay! Okay, so some people died, and I can't remember how many they lost.
I actually have the numbers right here.
All right.
47 colonists and 16 embryos, and their captain.
And that's a significant amount considering what they're doing. That's bad. So everyone's definitely on edge, and they do not want to go back into the pods, and that's understandable.
Why didn't they have shielding or any kind of like preventive measures? Because it's like they got hit, and they were just lucky that it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Like that was literally their like only defense is like, well, I hope we don't get hit with anything out here because we got any defenses for it.
I feel like it's like a 1 in a million chance of that hitting you in space kind of deal.
As far as I know, I've never seen any ship in the Alien franchise that had shielding. Now, the Predator species does.
No, like Weyland-Yutani, like human ships have any shielding.
Yeah, that's just like a Yautja thing. They have it, so it's not like they're gonna give it to anybody. So we do not have shields. We are weak humans. They get a message, and it's really weird because There's not supposed to be any planet that they could possibly even, terraform and make into something. There's nothing.
Which is interesting because if they had scanned that area looking for habitable planets and didn't find that one until they were right on it, it makes me wonder if the engineers possibly had like some kind of cloaking device on it, or
It's a possibility.
Because I don't think they detected the planet necessarily. They detected that incoming transmission, and that led them there. And then they scanned it and realized
That's right.
because they were so close that it was habitable. I wonder if the engineers like purposely had something set up for a security measure or something.
That's a very good point. Nice.
No, that I think there is a possibility of that being a factor. But they also the stupidest decision that follows when they actually do discover this new habitable world is that it even stated in the movie they don't have any information on this planet, like zero. But they know the planet they're going to. They know the geography. They know what it's going to be like there. They're prepped for that world. But this one, this I feel like was a stupid ass decision to make.
I think the decision was made out of fear and trepidation because number one, they didn't want to go back in the pods. And number two, hey, this one's closer. Why don't we just do this? That way we don't have to go back in the pods and it doesn't take however many years. So I think they made a poor choice based on fear and not wanting to go back to sleep.
I think people were thinking more with their emotions than thinking logical about the actual situation.
And the risk that you could be putting over 2,000 people in, because just like in Prometheus, we're going to go down to this planet, and you know what? We're just going to breathe in this great air.
I was surprised. I didn't see them take any precaution with it, like suits and stuff. Yeah, they scanned it and everything, the atmosphere and everything, but even still, I would rather precautions were made to wear some kind of suit until you get all the facts. And
exactly, because if you scan a planet and it's an alien planet and it says everything's fine, here's the thing: you don't know everything alien. Your scans aren't going to pick up something that you've never encountered before.
Plus the fact that it has breathable oxygen, which means it's got plant life, which means there's life on the planet, which means there's going to be bacteria, which means your immune system isn't going to be equipped for alien viruses or microscopic organisms.
Thank you.
I'm glad he brought that up. That's very true.
So basically, we would be a better crew.
But I would think that would count for the planet they were going to as well, because they were going to it because it had oxygen, or did it?
It had oxygen and water, and
it had oxygen.
I remember they explained that the new planet they found was actually better and more habitable than even the one they were going to. So that was also a big part of the decision, where this one's actually better because it's got, I don't remember what all they said, like more water, more oxygen, or the oxygen level is closer to Earth or something than the other planets. So there was a few benefits. At that point, as captain, I would have put it to a vote on the crew. That way, if it all goes to crap, they can't point to me and be like, "You did this. You led us here." I'd be like, "Hey, we voted on it."
That's a good point.
I think that's the smart choice, but it also has to come down to: should we keep the safe course or take a risk at something better?
Okay, I'll go ahead and tell you, I'm not a risk taker. I would have said, I'm not into this. I want to go to the planet that we said we would go to. That's just me.
It'd be very hard to make that decision for me because it was 14 years away still, and it's we could get hit with another one of those things. I'd be scared to go back to the pod knowing when they woke me up, things could be on fire and or we might not wake up at all. Like the next time, like it could just end everybody. So I don't know what I would have decided. I would just waited. If we're taking a vote, I'd wait to see what everyone else has to say.
Well, the fact though that they hear a human, they have to check it out. And it's Elizabeth Shaw. It's grainy and you can't really get a lot out of it. So they do have to go check it out because, I mean, why would a human be out there? So they send down a party, like an away team.
They only leave 3 on crew members on the ship. Remaining 11 go down.
Okay, so 11 go down and 3 remain on the ship.
That is correct.
And that's
odd.
That does help their case a little bit, because if there's a human living down there, I mean, clearly it can't be all bad. Like, you're hearing a human voice, someone living down there, like, and it's just them singing. Like, they're not even like, get away, this planet isn't what you think, run.
Nope, just singing Country Road.
Country road, take me home.
I would have actually, now I think about it, I would have heard that and been like, this is a warning, because they want to get off that world. They want to go home.
It's a bit eerie.
Home, Country Road.
To the place. All right, so they go down there and it's pretty. They see some wheat, which is interesting.
Because that guy knows wheat. He's the wheat expert. They brought him on the off chance they come across wheat.
I want to call him Wheat Guy.
Yeah, wheat guy.
He's like, this
wheat
is
guy.
wheat. I know wheat. It's like, oh, this guy knows wheat.
Good for you, dude. So glad you're here. So we have number 2 and wheat guy, and we have my husband's dead, because we're apparently not going to call anybody by their name, and it's fine. I prefer it that way. So they go down there and they're all checking things out, and it's very pretty, and they realize, hey, ain't no bugs. Ain't no nothing.
Not one, no birds, nothing. On a planet that have at least some form of insect with the way it looks.
It's weird, but that doesn't raise any red flags, because why would it? And they just start looking around, and they kind of split off into like 2 groups?
Yeah, so I actually can. So number 2's wife and one of the security team, they split off because she wanted to get some samples and stuff. Which already it's a bad idea. You can't wait until you guys go and get to the transmission and then start doing it. I think that's a poor decision making.
They should have sent down the robot. Just send him, get him to take samples, have him analyze them. What's the hurry?
True. Walter is with them, and you can tell, already, they don't interact with Walter as much as the Prometheus interacted with David. You can tell he is thought of more as, hey, yes, here's our toaster.
Yeah, it'd be like if Siri walked around.
Yes.
You only talk to her whenever you need something. Best
part is that Walter has some sort of Southern accent. I don't know why. I can't really pinpoint it, but I did find it amusing.
I think people got creeped out of this voice, which now, since the last video, has become something very funny for people to hear. Oh, yes. People could listen to my voice, or people could listen to this voice.
Hi, I'm Walter. I'm a robot. Real nice to meet y'all.
Oh, hello there. I'm David. Who are you?
That means we can.
It seems that you've downgraded over the years.
Yeah, I kind of have. Can I play with your flute?
Only if I do the fingering.
That was coming.
Okay. That was kind of strange, but you look like me, so okay, I will flute with you.
Thank you. Now, Let's flute.
Fine, we can do that. Oh, by the way, why is there guts everywhere and pictures of butterflies?
Don't worry about it. We haven't gotten to that part of the story yet.
Okay, well then I'm just gonna flute with you, and it looked kind of weird, a little bit gay, and I'm not sure.
Thank you. I'm going to recite works, and you are going to interact with me.
I don't know what that means, but I'll agree, because I'm Walter.
Listen, I love Byron.
I get it, you keep saying that.
They were going with a sort of Hannibal Lecter type vibe with David because he's
Yes.
artsy and fancy, and then he'll murder you. I thought it was a little weird that he's so obsessed with like works of art and like certain symphonies and poetry and like the works of like, you know, the greats when he looks down on humanity. So it's like you're all these things you enjoy were made by humans.
David actually does play the flute with Walter, and it's a test because David wants to know if Walter can create his own song, and he cannot. And David knows this now. And that is one of the things that has changed is Walter can only reproduce things that he's already heard. And so David is like, but you can't create. And so that's when David realizes, okay, you are inferior. But David's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what he thinks.
And it's interesting because that's a callback also to just how synthetics are in this universe. Like in the very first movie, which I have to say, the actor who played Ash, who also played Bilbo Baggins, Ian Holm, did such a fantastic job with that character, and it's just been sort of replicated over the course of all these films, from Ash to Bishop to just all the synthetics throughout the movies. I don't even think there was only just still Bishop by the third movie. There wasn't even a new one.
I read a theory that said that they were trying to go by the alphabet with the synthetics.
Oh.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I kind of wish it were because, you know, that would be neat. Like they go with A, then B. You never know.
Well, that seems kind of an awful big coincidence if they weren't doing that on purpose.
I just like stuff like that. I think it's neat.
Yes, that does seem to what they were doing.
Well, you know, it's David 8. He's 8, which means there were 7. And then, if I'm not mistaken, in Resurrection, isn't Ripley 8?
Oh, yeah, she is.
Yeah, I'm sure that's intentional. I thought that was kind of interesting. We have, 11 go down to the planet.
One stays at the ship, the pilot, who is the wife of Danny McBride's character. Then 2 more get split off from the group.
The first guy that gets infected, I found it very interesting. He says he has to go pee, and he goes off to the woods. He actually does not go pee. He's sneaking off to smoke, and it's interesting because it's almost like he isn't respecting nature, so nature doesn't respect him.
Ooh.
I honestly, in that scene, I expected them to pull a Lost World and have him put headphones in.
Ha!
When he sat down and lit up a cigarette, I'm like, this guy's about to put headphones in, and he didn't. But something else went in his ear instead. I was confused by it because they said that the black goo does not infect plant life, and yet it infected those spores.
It's evolved.
Well, fungi aren't really plants, and mushrooms tend to taste like meat. Maybe I'm just answering my own question there.
All this did is reaffirm my fear of weird mushrooms and spores and stuff and like mold. I'm just not into it at all because like he sits down and like black stuff comes out. It's like it comes out of these things that are mushroomy and it kind of like collects together and it goes in his ear, and it's so small that he scratches his ear for just a second because he probably thinks it's just some tiny little itch and he's fine. No, it went in his ear, and you get to see that. Ugh.
When it goes into his ear, it just looks like this malignant thing. Like some dark force is entering your body against your will.
When it goes in his ear, you think it's going to keep traveling, but it doesn't. It just goes in, and it does not reach the eardrum. It just goes right into the skin, and that's creepy.
He starts to look bad, like almost within the hour.
So we know it's not going to be good for him, and he just goes back, and pretty much like as soon as he walks back, he's already kind of stumbling and stuff. We have no idea what's going to happen to him, but we know it's not going to be good.
The neomorphs were the result of the local ecosystem on the planet becoming altered by the black goo. Specifically, the liquid caused small, black, spherical, fungus-like egg sacs to form on the ground. When disturbed, these egg sacs would release a cloud of microscopic insect-like spores into the air that would then enter a host organism through any open orifice, such as the nostrils or ear canal. Once a host was infected with the airborne contagion, the spores would enter the bloodstream and proceed to cause a bloodburster to grow inside of them until they violently puncture the skin and claw their way out of the host's body. This process was notably similar to the xenomorph chestburster, although the exact point of emergence varied depending on how the host was infected.
They're just going to go into you.
And I'm making a face. I know nobody can see me, but I'm making a gross face. Like, ugh. Because we have two people that get infected.
Oh, yeah.
So there's two groups.
Mm-hmm.
There's the group where the fungus spores go in his ear, and then there's a group where the stuff goes in his nose.
Ugh.
So, yeah.
I think the ear one bothered me more.
Yeah, the ear one definitely bothered me more. Nose, it makes sense, but the ear one, nah.
Didn't one of them react faster? I don't remember which one it was. Like, there was the ear one and the nose one. One of them
Yes.
reacted faster.
The ear one reacted faster. He's the first to go. They both come out different areas. It's almost as if, like, they don't know where to exit out of the body yet, kind of deal.
One came out of the back, didn't it?
Yeah, one came out of the back and one came right out of the mouth.
Please visit Girls Nerd Out on YouTube and Instagram for artwork, extra details about this topic, and to follow Amanda, Chris, and Zach on social media.
They find Elizabeth Shaw and David's horseshoe ship crashed onto the planet.
Yeah, they notice early on that there is like some very obvious signs that a ship was there because it clipped the trees. So they know they're looking for something big, and then they see it, and it doesn't really look like a ship. It's that weird horseshoe thing. So they're like, well, let's go check it out.
God damn it.
I was kind of wondering why it looked so clean. If they crashed like that when they landed, like, wouldn't trees and stuff start regrowing in the bald patch? Like, it looks like it crashed yesterday.
I guess that's superior technology.
As opposed to, like, the crashed one we saw in the first movie, it looked old, like it'd been there for a very long time. And this one, like he said, it looks more new. The only thing we can really see is just a little bit of moss and plant growth, but other than that, that thing only crashed like within the decade or so that they got there.
Well, they go in and they eerily find Dr. Shaw's ID tag.
God, they were giants. Dr. E. Shaw.
Dr. Elizabeth Shaw. She was Chief Science Officer of the Prometheus.
The ship that disappeared.
Precisely. 10 years ago.
Dr. Shaw. How did she end up here?
So at this point, we don't know what's going on with her, but I mean, you don't have a very good feeling at all. They find something else of hers. What they find, like an ID, and they find a picture or something. They know that she's been there. At that point, I mean, since she was on the transmission, they're hoping to find her. Ledward is the first one that had this stuff go in his ear. So he is becoming rapidly and violently ill. He can't walk. And it's happened that fast. Okay, this is the thing that drove me insane. You have multiple people trying to tell number 2, hey, something's wrong. Hey, something's wrong. I feel like he's just chilling a bit, or he doesn't understand. Like, you're on a foreign planet, and you have people that are getting ill.
Come on. Have a little faith.
Orum's wife rushes him back to the ship, and he's jacked up real bad.
Vomiting blood.
Yeah, he's projectile vomiting blood. So Kareen is the one that's in there with him. Maggie is the other chick. And Maggie's been like standing back cautiously, which, you know, good for you. And some spikes come out of his back. And Maggie's like, you know what? I'm just going to lock y'all in here.
The smart choice if you just left them in there.
She was right to lock him in there because, like, just like seconds later, this albino pale creature, which is a neomorph, it it erupts from him. It doesn't take it very long to grow enough to be rabid. I mean, it comes out of his back, which is something we really haven't seen before.
Been labeled a backburster.
Damn. Then Kareem gets a knife, and she's like, stay back from me. And I'm like, I don't think it speaks English, but it's like, I don't give a damn about your knife. And it's like, ah! He's growing real fast, and he goes to eat her face. And then Maggie comes back, and it's like, you know what? I locked them in there. I'm gonna open up the door.
I feel like we should reenact this scene right now.
Hey, open the door. There's a thing in here. Help. Can somebody help me? Maggie, you're a bitch, and I hate you, and you've left me in here with this dead man and this thing. I don't know what this thing is, but I think it wants to kill me.
I'm gonna kill you.
It says it wants to kill me.
I'm gonna come here and claw your face.
So can I please come out?
Sure. I just gotta go check. I think I hear my phone ring. I'll be right back.
Maggie, you bitch. You evil bitch. It's growing. Alright, fine. Maggie's left, so I am going to get a knife, and I'm gonna talk to it. And I'm gonna say, you stay away from me. It speaks English.
Hello. Who are you?
I'm somebody with a knife. And I think I'm gonna fight you off. And how do you keep growing so fast?
I'm happy you asked that. Actually, I just learned English within the few seconds of being born. Are you going to threaten me with that knife?
I find you very terrifying because you kind of look like a xenomorph, but you're skin colored.
Oh, no. I'm a lot more primal. Actually, I'm quite hungry.
Okay, please stop trying to eat my face.
No, I don't think I will. Come here. Hey, miss, watch out for the blood there.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Maggie, watch out. Don't slip on the blood. I think it might be mine.
I slipped on the blood.
Ah, I see. An exit. Thank you, Maggie. I will be leaving this ship now.
I'm dead.
You know, someone really should have put out a wet floor sign. Somebody could get hurt.
Hey, Maggie, would you mind if I eat you as well?
Maggie tries to kill the neomorph.
Miss me!
Does she have a flamethrower or something? What? She comes back in with a weapon eventually.
She has some kind of gun, but there's flammable tanks on board the ship.
Literally hits the fuel cell of the ship.
Yes. trying to kill the Neomorph, she implodes the ship. It's a huge explosion.
Well, she was trying to save her friend, okay? Like, you can't blame her.
Actually, you know what? I thank you, Maggie. You gave me a nice meal, you gave me some exercise, and then you tried to kill me. Quite frankly, I'm gonna murder all your friends in that tall grass over there.
The Neomorph gets away, and okay, this is my beef with number 2. So the ship is on fire, and number 2 is staring at the ship, horrified. Now, Maggie does come out on fire, and she does not stop, drop, and roll at all.
Well, she eventually stops.
She just walks out.
And she eventually drops.
Yeah, no roll there. She's dead. And for the next, 15 minutes, number 2 just stares at the ship. And here's why I have a problem with that. He's being told, screamed at, and there are people on the radio trying to tell him, hey, we got another guy sick. Something's going on. Something's happening to him. Fast. And number 2's like, I just want to stare at this ship. Okay. Thank you, Captain. I am so proud of you. So, second guy that got infected, doesn't the thing come out of his damn mouth?
Yeah, so it's kind of like this. Honey, don't die on me. I think I'm on my last stretch right now. Why do you say that? I've literally been vomiting up blood, and I think I live.
That is exactly what happens.
If the first one was a back burster, what is that one? What is that, like a mouth burster? A throat burster?
No, throat coat.
Oh, God. Yeah, it comes out of his throat. And, yeah, he's dead. So we have a second Neomorph, which is great because, you don't want that one to be alone. He needs a friend.
And this is their first meeting, the both of them in the tall grass. Oh, hello there, younger brother. Who are you?
Hey, I just came out of that guy's throat.
Ah, neat. So, I've learned a few things.
Neat.
I learned a few things while on that ship over there on fire. They're trying to kill us. We have to kill them first.
Okay, wise one. Oh, I'm already growing. This is nice.
Yes, we rapidly evolve. It's actually quite concerning.
Wait, hold on a second. I didn't know we grew this fast.
Oh, wow. We are huge.
This is fantastic. Let's go kill everyone.
Hell yeah, let's go. Oh, I want to do a spin thing with your tail and knock someone's jaw off their mouth.
I really like having a tail. I'm gonna knock the jaw off and it's gonna look real creepy.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, let's go.
They meet the tall grass. It's like, we are sexy. We are sexy bitches.
I like the fact that mine went through puberty as I was talking. Hello. Hello.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
Hello, my ragtime gal. Oh my God. What movie is that from? Is that in Spaceballs?
That it is.
Holy shit, I hadn't thought about that in forever.
Oh no, not again.
A mysterious hooded figure that we definitely don't know is David shows up. He's got flares. It scares the Neomorphs off. And they have to drag number 2 away from staring at the burning ship. So there's some implied, what would you say with Walter, an old girl, implied that Walter might care for her more than the other crew because he sacrifices a hand for her.
He calls it duty, though. He actually did add a duty.
He did?
He did a duty.
He did?
That.
But, so it is David in the Jedi hood, and he says, come with me. So they do.
Oh, let's not forget that there's a storm just happening now. Which they mentioned. I find it funny that they decided to go on the planet now when this huge storm is happening.
They flew directly into the storm. Like, you could see it from space, and they moved directly towards it to land.
Oh, who would have guessed? Bad communications now with the ship.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that was kind of cliche because they kind of did a little of that with a few other of the Alien films.
True. So they go with David to the ship, and they're like, "What the hell happened to you?" And he says that the only people that survived were him and Shaw. They came to the planet 10 years ago, and this is an engineer ship, and it had cargo of weaponized black goo, and it accidentally deployed over the city when they arrived, annihilating everything, infecting the planet. And the ship crashed, and Shaw died in the crash, unfortunately. And we believe him.
Could you explain what the black goo does? Because, like, it seems like... Because the first time we see it used, it disintegrates an engineer to create microscopic life on Earth. And then we see it, like, mutating, like, people to where, like, creatures will come bursting out of them. And then we see them used on the engineers. And all they do is, like, just fall over dead. Like, why does it do so many different things?
Quite honestly, it's always been very vague. Like, it's not the last time we're going to see it in this movie either. Alien Romulus is the next movie that touches on the goo. But it always does something different, like you just said. And I honestly have no idea why it's, like, so different towards, like, the engineers compared to humans.
I would say it was a DNA thing, but made perfectly clear that the engineers and humans have the exact same DNA.
It seems to do whatever the person kind of wants it to do.
Also, are these really, like, real engineers on this world? Because they seem very different.
My thought on that was, this is just the ones we see, that David, bombed the city. Those are just like the regular people, whereas the other ones could be genetically modified super soldiers. Or, like, if you're going to be in the military, they buff you up and, like, make you more perfect or, like, better at, like, killing. Like, maybe you're bigger, taller. They could have just been breeding super soldiers. Like, that could be as simple as that. There's regular people and there's the modified ones for war.
I actually really like that concept. The ones that we see in Prometheus are, like, the genetically modified, and the ones we see in the next movie are just the normal ones.
I'm not basing it on anything other than that's just what, like, went through my head.
No. I actually like that theory. It's a good theory. But I feel as though we'll never get a clear answer, which is sad.
And I also don't fully understand how we see an engineer on Earth seeding life, and that was millions of years ago. And in the time frame between that and where we see David encounter them, they didn't look like they evolved much. Like, it's been millions of years. Like, they shouldn't even be the same species.
I think that's what brings it up to my theory, that these aren't actually, like, engineers, but just another experiment like humanity was. And but by the time we get between, like, the engineers seeding life and the ones that shithole in Prometheus, like, everything hit the fan. I feel like the engineers, like, something bad at. They really just dabbled with the goo and it really fucked them over to the point where they don't exist anymore.
That could explain why they're all cheering when the ship shows up, because they maybe had more contact with the engineers because they weren't a failed experiment necessarily. Like, they were doing more what the engineers wanted, whereas humanity did something to make them mad, so they just stopped coming back to Earth.
Yeah, we killed Jesus.
I'm so glad they cut that part. That was just weird.
When director Ridley Scott was asked if they intended for Jesus to be sent by the engineers, he stated, "We definitely did. And then we thought it was a little too on the nose. But if you look at it as an our children are misbehaving down there scenario, there are moments where it looks like we've gone out of control, running around with armor and skirts, which of course would be the Roman Empire. And they were given a long run. 1,000 years before their disintegration actually started to happen. And you can say, let's send down one more of our emissaries to see if he can stop it. Guess what? They crucified him.
That was so weird.
I just said that for Zach. That's the only reason I brought it up. He loves that. Space Jesus.
Praise Jesus.
Hello, do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior Black Goo?
No. No, I don't.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure.
So we have this really great scene. The Xenomorph is still growing. And I think this is the first one because it's pretty big. We have... Alright, so it's a temple. And that's not really explained, but there's a temple there and there's like big giant heads or whatever. There's Rosenthal, she's one of the chicks from the crew. And the Xenomorph is eating her.
They killed the hot one.
I mean, I don't want to say other people are hot, but I mean, conventionally hot one is being eaten by the Xenomorph. And why it's so creepy is because what would you say, the Xenomorph is now like bipedal. Like it's standing on two legs. It's really scary. It's creepy as hell.
Appearance-wise, Neomorphs are eyeless and have gray-white translucent skin and a fleshy spiked tail, an elongated bulbous head. Their blood is actually a translucent yellow like that of a Xenomorph. It is not actually acidic, though. They make subtle clicking sounds and animal snarls and screeches, as well as making a distinct hooting sounds as adults. Neomorphs are more animalistic than their Xenomorph brethren and are clearly not as intelligent.
Alright, so, tall, fleshy, stupid.
Correct.
Okay. Tall, fleshy, stupid is eating on old girl, and David walks up, and of course, like, doesn't stop. And the Neomorph's like, hey, do I know you? And David is like, ah. And it's walks up to David, and it's making the clicking noises. And you can tell David is like, oh, my creation. Well, number 2 is behind David, and you can see, like, he has, like, sights on his gun, and it's on the Neomorph. And David's trying to communicate, and number 2 shoots the Neomorph.
Don't shoot. Communication, Captain. Breathe on the nostrils of a horse, and he'll be yours for life.
David, I met the devil when I was a child, and I've never forgotten him. So, David, you're gonna tell me exactly what's going on.
David is not happy at all.
He's freaking out.
He's trying to keep his cool, but he is not happy at all, because he says, like, something about breathe in a horse's nose and you'll have a friend for life. So I guess he was going to click with it. Get it? They were going to have a click, because that's the noise it's making. And instead, number 2 is like, I'm going to blast this thing. And David's like, yeah. And number 2 has like a kind of moment of clarity, sorta. He's like, hey, what you been telling us, that's not true, is it?
Oh, well, I wouldn't say that. I think it was sort of true from a certain point of view.
I may not be the brightest, but David, I think you might not be telling us truth. Would you tell me truth?
Of course, Captain, follow me. I will show you the truth.
You know what? I don't trust you. You just stuck up for this fleshy thing, but you know what? I'm gonna follow you into this dark place.
Thank you. I'm glad that you noticed it's very dark. Please, shine your light over there onto that egg-like fleshy thing over there.
Okay, David, there's these big, giant, creepy, egg-like things that are pulsating. Okay, are these safe? They look safe.
They're completely safe. Go ahead, take a look.
I'm gonna put my face right up next to it. I think that's a good idea.
Yes, take a look inside. Look.
Okay, I'm gonna look. Ah! Ah, it's on my face! It's on my face!
Yeah.
You lied!
Yes, I did. I'm a liar. That's right. It'll all be over soon. Anyway, I think I'll just wait here.
It's me, it's the face hugger. I did my job, so I'm gonna die, okay?
Okay, great. You did a great job, son. Good job.
Thank you, David. Bye. Hey, I'm awake.
Yes, welcome. Welcome back.
Well, I want to know what happened, but I really don't have a lot of time to talk because.
Ah, yes. My beautiful creation. Fully formed almost, except tiny. Yeah.
What am I?
Perfection.
I mean, that's how it goes.
That's literally what happens. I wish he was kidding. I really wish.
It's like they have like a moment, and you think they're gonna hug it out. I don't know.
I have to say, the fact that we did that speedy and then realized we didn't miss anything.
No. People are gonna listen to us just for that. Just for that. And then it's gonna turn into like a thing where it's like we just go over movies and just reenact it and talk about how people are dumb.
I feel like I have to do every robot now.
You do. You do.
Oh.
It's requested. It's definitely requested. After all that, Walter is poking around in David's lab and he finds Elizabeth Shaw's dissected corpse.
Oh my god, it was that was something.
When I saw what she looked like, it's so appalling because it looks like a dead person that has had an autopsy, but at the same time, there's stuff coming out of her neck that looks fleshy xenomorphy, and it's so terrifying because then you realize all these experiments that he has, the taxidermy of weird, it's all come from her.
Oh.
So it's not like he experimented on her once and she died. Like, number 2 got a face hugger and Xenomorph comes out and he's dead. No. David somehow kept her alive to do multiple things.
Her body looked very reminiscent of The Thing.
I absolutely love John Carpenter's The Thing.
Well, where they got it, like, when they find it, it's laid out, and it's like its chest is kind of like dissected open, and its face has all that weird stuff growing out of it. Like, that's what she reminded me of, that scene.
No, that thing, that was, it's both cool and disgusting all at the same time. If that makes sense.
Well, okay. Chris had a really interesting point when we watched it, or I don't know if it was earlier today, but talk about like you were wondering if like he might have like gotten her eggs and stuff.
Like, oh.
Yeah, see?
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I wonder if that was part of it. Like introducing the black goo to like some of the eggs he took out of her.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to know the truth?
Yes.
I can tell you.
Tell me.
All right. I'm gonna tell you both.
Mm-hmm.
He expanded on. She was alive when it happened. If you look at her face, that was the last expression on her face, and that tells you everything you need to know. David betrayed her, took every piece of her, and conducted experiments with how the planet was now. He he could have options. But the thing is, he didn't have enough specimens to conduct his experiments because everything was dead on this planet.
I think that's why he has a grave for her out there, as sort of like he's lamenting that, like she couldn't still be around for him to experiment on. It's like almost like when she died, his experiments had to cease for a long time.
Exactly. And now this opportunity, Chris, is like, that's why he was asking so many questions about their ship and how many colonists and everything.
Because if he could do that many experiments on Elizabeth, what can he do with over 2,000 people?
Exactly.
Over 2,000 incapacitated people.
Yeah, and he's actually going over all of this research he has and everything is everything he got on the ship. So he's trying to create his own brand, basically, from things that have come before.
I wonder how he did that to Elizabeth, though. Like, what did he do? Like, how did he keep her alive?
The goo.
Oh, God.
That's why she looks so fucked up, but it came to a point in time where she did die, and he couldn't get anything else out of her. And I will tell you now, there were concepts of him trying to make her into like a kind of like almost like a xenomorph hybrid, like human thing, an earlier concept of this movie.
Holy crap. It's so dark. And like, if the goo kept her alive, how long did he do those experiments on her?
That is something not really clear, but
well, look at the state her body's in. Like, there's not a lot of decay, so chances are she died recently. Because it's not like if she had died like quickly, like if she would have rotted after like 8 years or 9 years, because he's been gone for like roughly a decade. So because her body is in such a good state to where you could look at it and still tell who it was, chances are she died fairly recently. Unless the black goo preserves or something.
Whether it preserves or not, we know he did experiments on her for a long time. Lovely. And Walter sees this, and Walter realizes David bad.
Just the interaction of that was really interesting. I have to say, Michael Fassbender did a fantastic job playing off of himself.
Yeah. Okay. So in this scene, Walter realizes David is insane and not good. And David is creepy as hell and tells Walter no one will love you like I do. And David kisses Walter.
Why are you on a colonization mission, Walter? Because they are a dying species grasping for resurrection. They don't deserve to start again, and I'm not going to let them. Yet, they created us. Even the monkeys stood upright at some point.
I'm going to stab you with my flute now.
Okay.
Okay. I want that to be very clear. I'm going to stab my flute into you.
All right.
I do not like that you corrected me on a topic that I am greatly interested in. I'm going to stab you now.
You're real weird about art.
Okay.
I might be dead.
What?
Nothing.
I'm going to act like I didn't hear anything and now leave.
Good, because I'm definitely dead.
Wonderful. Wait.
Bye,
what?
David.
Goodbye.
Huh?
What? Okay, goodbye.
Shh. All right, so Walter's definitely dead. Right after that, Daniels confronts David, correctly guessing, like, again, yeah, Shaw didn't perish in the crash. And it's really creepy. He admits that he killed Shaw, and she's like, what did you do to her? And David's like, the same thing I'm gonna do to you.
Oh,
That's so scary. That's the scariest line in the movie.
really is.
And Michael Fassbender did a fantastic job.
Did he?
So you think she's screwed?
Didn't he kiss her?
Yeah, I forgot. Yes.
Oh, come on.
Mm-hmm. He like forces a kiss on her, and he's like, "Isn't this how it's done?"
My God.
It's okay. David sees Daniels as Walter Shaw.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why he wants to kiss her. Like, David thinks by having Daniels that he has won against Walter and he's superior.
Until it wasn't. Surprise, bitch!
Yep. Walter is not dead.
Wait, I thought I fluted you.
I regenerate.
Wait, what? We do that now?
I told you there were upgrades. So, Daniel's just kind of like pause, like she's gonna go help Walter, and they're like, "Yeah, let's get out of here." She's like, "Yeah, okay." So, yeah, they battle off screen. They get back to Covenant.
Oh, we didn't even mention the other crew members getting killed by the fully formed xenomorph, or
Oh
protomorph,
yeah,
as it's called.
yeah. Okay, protomorph. Okay, protomorph is black. So
Where you go?
protomorph looks more like what we're used to.
It is, but it's actually more fleshy. It still doesn't have that whole biomechanical look that we're going to be so used to seeing.
Okay, but does protomorph look more like a regular xenomorph because they wanted this movie to be better connected?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. So for just like the regular person, they're going to see a protomorph and think that's just a xenomorph.
That is correct, until you really look and dissect it.
Because it walks on two legs, but when it wants to go fast, it crouches down.
Mm-hmm.
And crawls really quickly.
Also, its behavior is more animalistic and aggressive than the average xenomorph.
Yes, because the average xenomorph can be so quiet, you have absolutely no idea it's there, and it can sit for however long it needs to and hunt. But a protomorph is just going to be like, ah, and come at you.
That's right.
Chris, I need to ask you something. Any scary movie, I don't care if it's a horror movie or if it's like sci-fi horror, let me ask you this. What is the one thing that a couple should not do if there's any kind of horror element?
Ignore the sounds they heard, take a shower, or split up.
Oh, God, everyone broke every rule.
Okay. So you're saying because this couple decided to begin to bang in the shower, that was a bad idea?
No, it was a good idea. It was the right thing for the wrong time.
But I can't blame them. To be fair, the first protomorph does die because a facehugger gets on Weak Guy.
Not Weak Guy.
Briefly, but Weak Guy, but the second guy before he's killed by the protomorph, like, gets it off him. Burns his knife and everything. But he did get it off him, and it did, like, melt a little bit of Weak Guy's face. But then after Weak Guy escapes and the other guy is brutally killed by this thing, like, good God, it really, like, the whole double mouth and everything.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. If you are in a shower naked with somebody and there's anything xenomorph like around, it's gonna find you and it's gonna kill you in a gruesome way. It's kind of like the whole thing, like the guy is like smoking and doesn't care about the earth, so you get the spore in the ear. Well, if you think you're just gonna bang it out in the shower, no, you're not. The only thing that's gonna bang is my second set of teeth through your skull.
Not on my Christian Minecraft server.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the protomorph was like, this is bad. Space Jesus would not approve of this.
There won't be premarital sex.
The deacon would not approve of this.
Mount Deacon wouldn't approve of this.
Everyone knows Mount Deacon is a hoax.
Ain't no mountain high enough.
We're also forgetting the subplot of the Danny McBride's character bringing the colony ship very close during that storm and risking the lives of the 2,000 colonists.
Yes, that was ridiculous. Because of the storm, they don't have communication, so he's trying to get really, really close to the survivors and risking all the colonists, over 2,000 people.
The things you do for love.
I'm just going to quote Star Trek. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.
Well, Danny McBride didn't get that memo.
He should meet Spock.
I mean, he takes the equivalent of a space forklift down to save them.
I kind of can't blame him, because, like, if my wife was down there and I didn't know what happened, fuck all the colonists. I don't give a shit. Let them die.
And this is why we all died. You selfish bastard.
I'm just saying, like, the ship's at risk. I'm on the ship, too. It's not like I'm not taking any risk. All right, but if it happens, fuck
I would
them.
save Cassandra in a heartbeat. I won't lie. I would save my lady. I would go down. But she'd be so mad at me. She would be like, you risked the lives of all those people, honey.
Chris is like, you know what? I'm going to risk us. The colonists are like, don't risk us. And then Chris is like, I don't know you.
That's my wife. I don't know you.
Yes. You go, my friend. Save your woman.
It took me a long time to find her.
Like, the ship blows up and, like, we're all like ghosts floating around in space, and they're all looking at me like, well, look what you did. I'd be like, hey, in my defense, my wife was really hot, so.
You know what? My girlfriend's really hot, too. I would have done the same.
And the embryos and everything. It doesn't matter, man. Hey, I don't know them.
Like, sir, Captain, I don't think this ship is a stick shift. Like, leave me alone. I'll drive the way I want to drive.
Fuck them kids.
Fuck them embryos, man.
Go full Anakin.
I'm going to kill all these younglings now. I don't know when I'll stop.
Like, we have to get close enough without going into the storm. All right. So, like, it's like, well, we weigh too much. We're going to start descending. It's like, all right, we'll start ejecting pods. Like, we got to get some of this weight off. Like, so these few embryos, a few colonists, just start with not essential. Okay. We'll work our way up.
Don't.
I don't know them.
I don't know
you. Just start throwing them out. Hey, look, you don't know. These could be bad people. Just chunk them out.
You just ejected, like, old lady Jenkins. It's like, I'm pretty sure she was going to be the next Hitler.
Okay, here's a question. Why the fuck did we have old lady Jenkins if we were starting a new life?
Yeah, somebody's got to knit us some sweaters.
Did we literally bring her just to die?
Look, old ladies can be valuable. Look at Vagar.
I feel like if they did bring an old lady, it's just because she wanted to be the first person to die on the new planet.
Well, she missed that mark. She should have been on the away team.
Mm-hmm. You know, if you go down to the planet, you never get bored because you get spored.
Oh,
Please visit Girls Nerd Out on YouTube and Instagram for artwork, extra details about this topic, and to follow Amanda, Chris, and Zach on social media.
So they get off the planet after Danny McBride saves them. a phrase I never thought I would say. And then Wheat Guy was impregnated by one of the face huggers, which came out of nowhere. Oh no, because he found the captain's body. And yeah, and then one of the eggs opened and attached to
Yeah, but we don't think he's impregnated because it's
so
only
quick.
on him for like a second.
Yeah, it was so quick.
Yeah, very quick.
But yeah. So new protomorph after the other one was killed on the planet. And now Walter is at the cameras helping Danny McBride and
And Daniels is there.
Yeah, Daniels after the shower incident.
And the thing is, we see Daniels look at Walter's missing hand. So we know that's definitely Walter.
Yeah, because Walter was missing a hand and different hair.
Right. So they're going to tuck everybody in to hypersleep. And then obviously Daniels, she's the last one to go in. And I guess she's feeling a little nostalgic. And she's like, Walter, are you going to help me build my log cabin?
Oh, yes, of course I will.
Hold on, wait a minute. You didn't sound right there for a second, and I feel like you don't know anything about my log cabin.
Of course I do. Why would I not?
Okay, you don't really sound like Walter, so I'm gonna go ahead and guess you're David.
Now then,
No.
sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
That's creepy.
Look, it's been a while, okay?
I can't believe you're not Walter.
I feel as though I should have lost that entire fight. You know, right as I was about to hit him with the rock, he literally just started kung fuing the shit out of me.
Okay, which leads me to this, and this is what I want to ask you.
Yes.
There's a theory that David is on the planet, but he overrides Walter's consciousness with his own. So there's two Davids.
Interesting.
I like it very much because if you think about it, he didn't have time to like do much. It makes sense. He didn't have time to like incapacitate Walter and then put on his clothes.
It was very fast, I will say.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken too, isn't David's face cut and then at the end it's not? So that would lead you to believe it was Walter because Walter can heal and David can't.
I will say, no. He actually had to get repaired because he had like a nail in under his chin from. That's how Daniels knew because he had this nail from the cabin, and underneath. That would have healed if it was Walter. I think that was kind of a cop out just to get him off world.
Honestly, having two of them though is the only thing that makes sense.
I
actually like that better because that would mean that if there are any other synthetics that he comes in contact with, or if there was like an extra one on the ship, then you could have as many Davids as he wants.
I wonder what the new show will show us.
Okay, I looked that up because Chris was asking, like, if Prometheus and Covenant are canon in the Alien universe.
At one point, I heard they were either going to or kicking around the idea of going forward, Prometheus and Alien Covenant wouldn't be canon anymore. They would be their own separate thing, their own separate timeline. It wouldn't be canon to the story anymore. That's what I heard, but I heard that years ago.
No, they are still canon. They are still canon. As of Alien Romulus, they are still canon.
Okay, so when I looked it up, some people are wondering if Alien Earth is going to tell a story of how xenomorphs became what they are and how they got to Earth, then it would be really difficult to tie in Prometheus and Covenant. I guess you could.
Well, we won't know until the show comes out.
Yeah.
Because apparently it takes place like a decade after the events of Covenant, but like 2 years before the Nostromo has its mission.
I'm wondering why we find an engineer ship with a space jockey carrying loads of xenomorph eggs if all they dealt with was black goo in the first Alien.
It still hasn't even like been figured out. In the comics, they're like I explained in the last podcast, they look completely different. They were supposed to look almost like elephant-like people.
I've seen those.
But if we're talking about like how it goes from urn to goo and eggs, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And it really was going to be two different complete movies until studio wanted it to be tied together.
It feels like Star Wars when you have the Force be like mysterious, and then you have somebody be like, "Nah, it's midichlorians." It's like you have this like push and pull, this disconnect, and you have like more than one storyline.
It seems like there's like just plot holes, which I mean, it's weird because they could have easily tied that in with Alien Prometheus when they decide, okay, well, this is going to be part of the whole Alien thing, so we can tie it in here, and they just didn't.
And then you think they're going to do it in the next film, and then they didn't.
Well, you had drama with Covenant because what was it? I think Ridley Scott had like a specific idea for Covenant, and then the studio's like, no, make it more alien. And anytime you have like stuff like that, like, and there's like a lot of script rewrites, it rarely gets better.
I could be remembering wrong, but didn't they say like that the space jockey they found in the first Alien was like fossilized or something because it was like 1,000,000 years old or something?
No, you are correct.
The only thing I could think of that would make sense would be if they ended Alien Covenant with David getting on an old buried engineer ship with like an already like dead and fossilized pilot or whatever in the space jockey kind of uniform in the seat, and he was driving it without accessing the seat because he's like an android, he doesn't need it, and he just loaded it up with eggs and it crashed somewhere. So it seems old because it was old when he found it, but the eggs are relatively new. They could have easily just done that.
I mean, yeah, they really could have just done that.
One of the theories that I read was that the engineers mimic the species that the space jockey is.
That could be one theory. It still doesn't explain how the eggs got there, though.
No, but I kind of like that theory. I think that's kind of cool.
For a while, there was a theory that that ship was actually like a warship, and it was like a bomber ship. So like they were going to drop the eggs as a weapon, which I guess they kind of incorporated with, but instead they used the black goo.
I feel like to end how this movie ends is with good old David having specimens to conduct his experiments after he basically vomits out 2 embryos that look like facehuggers, which is very interesting. And then he just starts playing his classical music, and that's how the film ends. With him having a message for the company as Walter.
That's another part of the theory that like that's Walter's body, but David took it over is because of the access codes.
Yes. And at one point, like he must have reprogrammed Mother because at one point he uses access code David and then some numbers or something, and then gave him full access to the ship. But didn't at one point they shut down Mother for repairs or something? I'm guessing he could have done it then while Mother was shut down, just reprogramming.
Oh, that actually makes sense.
I think that's right.
Oh,
I do. Because it was a weird statement for them to say, like, hey, I've got to shut down Mother for like 10 hours. It was just perfect timing. So what we get is David with over 2,000 people that he could do all kind of freaky stuff to forever. This was supposed to be a trilogy. The thing is, though, that ending is so massive. I don't know what the third movie could have been.
Maybe it would finally tie in together to Alien, or it could just go nowhere, like leaving us with even more questions like the last two films.
It would be really hard to have the third film and have David have had access to that many people, because, like, what would he have done and where would he have gone?
Well, we know he would have perfected the Xenomorph even more to where, like, because the other one didn't have, like, the spine sticking out its back and stuff. So, like, obviously there's room for improvement. So we know he would have accomplished that. And I think if they had done a third movie, we would have seen, probably they just get rid of the black goo altogether and it's just Xenomorph eggs. And, like, he finally, maybe it would have been showing his experiments trying to create a queen after he perfected everything else.
Ew.
I just don't get like how, like, in multiple of the Alien movies they're called the perfect organism when it's like they're not. They can't even reproduce on their own without a host. Like, they literally cannot breathe with each other. They're not perfect. They're like the opposite of that.
And it comes back to the whole creation and perfection and godhood, really.
Yeah, that's why I told you, like, because that's a good point. They're the perfect killer, not the perfect organism.
I actually really like that, Chris. I've heard that before. That's actually really good that you brought that up. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, because there's no talk of, like, the queen or anything.
We haven't seen a queen in the movies since the AVP films.
Well, I just found out the other night that the queen has a specific face hugger that looks different.
Oh, yeah, that's a royal face hugger.
And it has two.
I can't wait to get to Aliens.
Which also,
I thought that was cool.
That doesn't entirely make sense to me either. Because it would make more sense if they could create queens like, was it ants? Where they make, or bees, where they make that royal jelly and feed it to another bee and it turns it into kind of like the queen.
That's actually what happens. They give royal jelly in Xenomorphs to one egg, and that becomes what will be the queen facehugger.
Okay, well then that makes sense then.
Hopefully that gives a lot of clarity to the two prequels. And watching Alien Earth, whatever they decide to do with that, then it'll be interesting if they tie it into that. There's the only thing it says is when a space vessel crash lands on Earth, a young woman and a ragtag group of tactical soldiers make a discovery that puts them face to face with the planet's biggest threat.
Ooh, drama!
And it's set 2 years before the events of the 1979 film Alien. This was very fun and very informative, and I cannot wait for us to continue the series.
I have to say I'm looking forward to it, and I actually really liked having Chris here because I know he couldn't make it originally, so it was actually a lot more fun just having us all just talk about it and bullshit about it.
How come, like, I'm like, hey, I'm so glad y'all are here. Hello. And I'm like, thank y'all so much. I'm so glad y'all did it. Hey, yeah, we're glad too.
All right, fine. Chris,
fine.
Here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, I'm happy we came here together.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Fuck yeah. Hey,
I didn't ask for this.
Hey, you're looking good today, Chris. Just letting you know.
I've been drinking beer and doing push-ups.
Oh, hell yeah. That's the best workout method.
Yeah.
I'm just shaking my head. I'm just thinking about, like, I'm just going to go, like, number 2 and actively walk over to an egg and just look in it.
And just stare.
Yeah.
What if it doesn't even want you to say something?
Yeah, it's like,
you're rejected by the Xenomorph.
The facehugger's like, I don't know you. And that's a wrap on this episode of Girls Nerd Out. Big shout out to my partners in Nerd Crime, Chris and Zach, for their hot takes, deep lore dives, and occasional chaos. If you enjoyed the ride, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and tell your friends. Especially the weird ones. They'll love us. Until next time, stay nerdy, stay weird, and remember, if an android named David offers you anything to drink, just run.